Today we are estimating quotients. It's really important that you know some vocabulary. We're going to go over that in the next slide, but one of the words that you need to know is compatible numbers. So numbers that go together nicely. I think of these like fact families. So fact families would be, you know, 6 times 5 is 30, and 5 times 6 is 30, and 30 divided by, oops, 30 divided by 5 is 6, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. I know that 6 and 5 and 30 are compatible numbers. They go together nicely. If you know your multiplication facts very well, this is going to be fairly easy for you. If you don't, you're going to need a multiplication chart in front of you. And remember that that would be a very valuable thing for you to practice if you're not comfortable with your multiplication fact. These are the vocabulary terms that you really need to know. Let's write down a division problem. 96 divided by 6. The dividend is the number that you're dividing up. So the dividend in this case is 96. I'm splitting 96 things up between 6 people, however you want to think about it. I'm dividing 96, that is my dividend. My divisor is the number that I'm dividing by. So in this case, 6 is my divisor. The quotient is the answer that I come up with. So 6 goes into 9 once. My quotient is going to be my answer. Okay. Now, to estimate means we're going to round both the dividend and the divisor to come up with an estimated quotient. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Compatible numbers is what I talked to you about on the previous slide. So compatible number might be 30 and 5 and 6. Compatible numbers might be 8 and 6 and 48. Compatible numbers might be 3, 5, and 15. Numbers that work very well together, work evenly together. Like I said, what I think of as fact families. So in this first example, we have a school needing to buy some chairs. That's us right now. Our budget is higher and the chairs are much more expensive than $13, but let's take a look at this. We've got 1,489 needing to be divided by 13. We want to know how many chairs can we purchase. And of course, we could do this division and we could say, well, 13 goes into 14 once, and we can do it that way, but we want to come up with a quick answer. So I want to round this number, and I want to round this number to numbers that work very well together. I can see that 1,489 is really close to 1,500, and 13 is pretty close to 15. Now that's not my conventional way of rounding, where I round either to 110 or the other, but again, my job here is to look for compatible numbers, and 15 fits into 15 really nicely. So 15 goes into 15 once, and I have those two zeros, so 15 times 100 is equal to 1,500. So my answer would be approximately 100 chairs. Here's another example. A volleyball team is going to state, and there's 965 students who want to go to the championship game, and each bus can hold 53 students. We want to know about how many buses are needed. So our actual problem that we're not going to do at this point is 965 divided by 53. I look at 53 and I say, well, you know what? That's pretty close to 50. That's where my brain goes first. 965, I want a number that's compatible with 50. It's very close to 1,000, and I know that 50 goes into 1,000 20 times. If you don't know that, then of course you're going to have to do some other work. 5 goes into 10 twice, and then I have 1 0 here. Transfer that 0. I might do something like 50 goes into 1,000. I might think about it like how many 50s are in 100? 2. And how many hundreds do I have? 10. So 2 times 10. However you choose to do it, You need to get to that final answer. Now, is this the only way? Absolutely not. There might be other ways. There might be other ways. You might say, well, I'm going to round that down to 900, and this is pretty close to 45. You might say that because 9 and 45 are compatible numbers. Let's take a look at this problem. I know that 4,112 is really close to 4,000, and 8 happens to be a compatible number with 40. 8 times 5 is 40, so I'm going to round this down to 80, which will bring my answer to 50. If I want to check my math, 8 times 5 is 40, and I'm going to place those 2 zeros there, 4,000, which gives me my dividend, which is perfect. In this example, I've got 2,924 divided by 53. I can see that I can round this up to 3,000. That gives me a nice even number to work with. And I know that 5 is compatible with 30, which is going to give me an answer of 60. Again, if you don't have that flexibility with numbers, that's okay. You can look at this problem. You can say, how many times does 50 go into 300? It goes 6 times. 50 goes into 0, 0 times. That still gives me that same answer of 60. When you show me your work on this assignment, the important thing that I want to see is this. I'm looking to see, can you decide what are compatible numbers, and how are you rounding those numbers? Again, there might not just be one specific answer. My last example looks like this. I'm thinking to myself, let's see, I'm going to start out going here, 2,700, and I'm thinking, what would be compatible with 27? 90 would and 30 would, so this doesn't work very well for me. So I'm going to go backwards. Maybe I'm going to round this to 28. Because then I can look at this 66 number and say, well, it's pretty close to 70. The reason I did that is because 28 and 7 are compatible numbers. So 7 goes into 28 4 times, and my answer is going to be 40. I can double check my work. 40 times 70 gives me 2,800.